Good morning and welcome to Upfront, the public affairs programming for Cat Country 98.1. Here's your host, Phil Marlowe.
We're back. I don't get to say that very often these days. It used to be every week, but now that COVID's here and life is as it is, I get in here when I can. But we are socially distancing in the studio this morning, and we are going to bring you an Upfront, a brand new Upfront. And if you're a newbie to the program, and Lord knows we haven't done that many since March, what we try to do with this show is to open up our microphones and the 50,000 watts of power that we have here at the radio station and beam out a specific topic. Oftentimes the topic has to do with nonprofit groups, and we'll discuss what it is they're doing, and if they're doing events, though many people aren't doing events anymore, but maybe they need financial help. They always need financial help. And maybe they need help with volunteerism if there's a need in a board situation or just somebody to do some of the work around the office. That's what we like to do. We take this opportunity to put out some community-type programming and hopefully some sort of a connection is made between you and the group that we have in. This morning, we've got a newbie, but not so much. New in that it's a new organization. And technically, we do have a newbie, guest-wise, but we have an old friend as well, Stephanie Pickup, who normally we'd be talking about roofing and putting a new roof on somebody's house in the wintertime in January, which I'm guessing we will do again.
Yes.
Yeah, for Carefree Homes. But we have one of her friends. She's now a board member of this organization. She brought Chris Anteo, and Chris is the dude. I'm using that very purposefully. The dude who started Gnome Surf. And Chris, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Because you know, unfortunately, this is radio, and you cannot see Chris, but Chris definitely is a dude.
Yeah, and I'm glad because I also have a day job where I'm a banker. So
no, really?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, so everyone knows me as the surf instructor, and I'm quite okay with that actually.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
So you're very laid back. And
Yep.
surfer dude kind of now, and
I'm a breath of fresh air in the banking world. Let's put it that way.
And then you're very prim and proper and sort of buttoned up when you go to work.
Yep, that's the goal. Is just I'm just myself, so it works out well for sure.
That's cool. Well, tell me a little bit about Gnome Surf, because until Stephanie had brought it to my attention, I had no idea about what you guys were and what you're doing. And so give us sort of the run through of how it started and where it started and what you
Absolutely. We're a 501c3 nonprofit surf therapy organization, which a lot of people like, what surf therapy? Well, it's an innovative alternate form of healthcare that focuses in on both the physical and mental health, as well as the emotional well-being of the athletes that we serve. And primarily, we're for all kids of all abilities, but we specialize in children with autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, depression, and anxiety. And we take them out in the ocean, surf with them, help build their self-confidence, increase their happiness. And what we found through our research in the International Surf Therapy Organization is that by surfing with these children, over 98% of them feel happier, and over 93% of them feel more self-confident. So it's effective, and what we hear from the families is just mind-boggling as to how it's really playing a vital role in their kids' lives. So blessed and honored to be the founder of this organization and truly enjoy leading.
It's very cool. I mean, there are so many alternative type therapies. And I mean, I've heard of people working with horses, dog therapies, things like that. Surf is a new one to me. Goat yoga.
Yeah.
But surfing is got to be a challenge on a lot of different levels. I know I've tried to get up on a surfboard and found it very challenging. But I'm guessing once you conquer it, there's a real satisfaction to it.
Absolutely. We're the only organization in the Northeast
It's doing this?
Yes. So you have your large organizations that come in and do a one-time event on the beaches, where we're actually trailblazing what it looks like as a practice, a medical practice. We're the only organization in the U.S. that is doing it as like a once-a-week thing. Come on at your own pace, come see us. So more like a therapy rather than a one-day large event. So we're the only ones in the Northeast, and the people traveling from all over New England, New York, coming to our beaches here in Rhode Island to surf with us. So it's pretty amazing, the legs that this thing has taken on. And I love doing it for sure.
Yeah, I think, so like I was telling you earlier is, we're kind of the rookie Gnomies at Gnome Surf. So two of my four kids are doing it, but my son struggled with playing your typical sports, baseball, basketball. It was too overwhelming for him emotionally. So he could only participate in things that are one-on-one, like running, skiing. And now a friend of mine, my friend Kristen, who is one of Chris's amazing volunteers, introduced me to Gnome Surf last year and said, you really have to try it with the kids. And so this year we jumped on board, and I just have to say, to experience it firsthand and to witness without crying. I'm not going to cry. I'm not crying, just so you know. You're crying. I'm not crying.
Let it out.
I'm not crying. You are. It's amazing. Confidence, happiness.
She is crying. But that's okay.
So that's the effect that we have on families. And
that's powerful.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, let's face it. I was nervous the first time I hopped on a surfboard, to surf. So these kids are nervous. And then they're doing things that they never thought was actually possible. So it truly increases their confidence in themselves, and that translates into every aspect of their life. So not only their own personal life, but the family dynamic as well. So it's pretty magic. I coined the term magic is what happens out there. So it's pretty magical for sure.
So how did this surfer dude / financier, where did the therapeutic background come in? How did you tie that all together?
Yeah, I went to school for psychology, and
you did?
I did. And I've always had a knack for working with kids with developmental disabilities. And I was a All-American wrestler in high school, and then I wrestled Division I in college.
Wow.
And I coached high school wrestling for about 10 years, and met this child with autism, and he ended up winning 75 matches, 4-time conference all-star. So I knew I had a knack there for working with kids with autism. So I opted for the cooler sport that appeals to a lot more people. And since I was a surfer growing up, I decided to begin the program, and we started in September of 2015, and we had over 35 kids in just 1 month. So now we're up. After this season, we would have surfed with over 1,500 families, and we actually turned 5 this week. So
wow,
yeah.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, thank you.
So your reaction. I'm still.
It's emotional. Well, it's what you have to really. I mean, even if you just go on Instagram and Facebook and check out Gnome Surfs, just the photographs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're amazing. I mean, we had a rainbow. We were very lucky. Our very first surf session, we had a beautiful rainbow. I mean, it couldn't have been a more perfect evening. And then just to see your kids up on the board, on the water, in the water, and it's just joy, like pure happiness. And they're having a blast. They're having so much fun. And Chris and the other volunteers are so welcoming. So for families who can't participate, in sports like a typical child can, because you go to the baseball fields and you can hang out with the other baseball parents or whatever. And that's kind of their little family, if you would say. But when you come to Gnome, it doesn't matter if your child is a typical child or someone that's struggling with an autism spectrum disorder. You're welcomed immediately and accepted for who you are, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. That is. And I'm gonna just come to you, Steph, in small spurts, I think, this morning, because she's gonna be crying in between all of them. If you're just tuning in, we're talking Gnome Surf. Stephanie Pickup, who's sobbing in the background, is in this
crying
morning, and Chris Anteo, who is the founder of Gnome Surf. So, so Chris, when you're out there, first off, how many gnomes, gnomies, as you call them, how many are you?
We have quite a bit of volunteers. This year, it's scaled back a little bit because of COVID. But ironically, we've like tripled in growth as far as our athletes coming on into surf. So it's been a very demanding season. I'm the lead instructor for one-on-ones. And this year, we've actually brought on another 3 instructors that help me in the water, where I was just the sole one-on-one guy for the previous 4 years. So you can see the growth there. And then we have camps every Sunday, in which prior to COVID, we would do art, yoga, a s'more social, a beach fire. So it was a real communal event where now we kind of stagger it and people have to come in time slots. But overall, we have about 50 to 60 volunteers, and we always need more. Just because this thing is growing very rapidly. And we're really trying to build that community feel that Stephanie was talking about. Is like, we want our families to come and feel welcomed, and we don't even ask behaviors. A lot of other nonprofits that work with children who are neurodivergent are asking what the behaviors are, so on and so. We don't want to know. They're accepted here. We'll figure it out on our own. And that's the type of atmosphere we're trying to create for our families, to just come, be who they are, feel comfortable, and have a surf with us, and then see the magic unfold.
You may have just answered the question that I was going to pose here, but in terms of the therapy, you basically just said, we'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Is that how you approach it with each kid, or do you have sort of a set plan that you like to follow, and then maybe you make adjustments along the way, or how does that work?
That's what you come to realize once you get to know more, either children or families who are on the autism spectrum. It's called a spectrum for a reason, right? So if you're coming in with a set plan and you want to deliver on that plan, and you're not willing to deviate from that plan, you're not going to be very successful, because kids come with all levels of abilities, and limitations. I don't like using that word, but it's true. So we just go with the flow, so to say. No pun intended, since it's surfing, right? We just go with the flow and focus first on building friendships.
Well, the nice thing that I'm just getting from you, energy-wise here, you're very calming. You've got a very calming sense to you, so I can see why kids would enjoy being around you, because you've already put me at ease.
Yep.
Now all I need is a surfboard.
Yep.
Come check it out.
So speaking of which, in terms of equipment, because I'm sure most people don't just have a surfboard lying around if they've never practiced the sport. And I'm guessing it's a big investment too.
Yes, it is. The equipment's quite expensive, and then we need transport vehicles to get the equipment to the beach, so on and so forth. So one of our surfboards, because we surf with not only kids, adults as well, that it's each surfboard can run up to $1,800, and they're good for a season because we put holes in them. And what we're really doing is riding into the beach all the way to shore, so we hit some rocks on the way, like on the sand and whatnot. So the equipment can get expensive, and we're really trying to not only just be the surf dudes. We truly want to build resorts as well, so families can come from all over here to our beaches here in Rhode Island and stay with us. Some treehouse resort of some sort in Little Compton eventually too. So we're trying to fundraise for that. And we just want to be there for families however we can be. So just providing either surfing, yoga, art, or any type of wellness experience around this communal feel of building a family. And that's what I call our volunteers and athletes. We call them the Kind Tribe. So it's a family of sorts, so to say.
But I think kind of one of the great things, so, as Carefree Homes and other businesses, you can come on board as a sponsor and help support the amazing work of Gnome Surf, whether you want to support, if you want to, depending on how much you want to donate, there's different levels, but I mean, you can sponsor a camp, on a Sunday, but I encourage other businesses like Carefree Homes to kind of get on board and really invest in an organization like Gnome Surf, because it's truly making an impact in the community with our neighbors, and families that really, really need it. You know, for kid, like I said, for those of us with kids who can't go to the baseball field or play basketball, or not that they can't play, but emotionally it's difficult for them to handle that, whether it's the sensory, the sound, or the emotional up and down. Surf therapy is very much real. It works, and it's just amazing to really see it happen before your eyes. I think you can see the pictures. Like I said, you can really see in a lot of the Gnome Surf pictures on Instagram and Facebook, just like the pure happiness and the confidence. I mean, Nathan with his, his hang loose, they're doing their hang loose thing with their hands, and he's got his tongue out, and he's just like riding the wave, and he's super stoked just to be in the water and having a blast. And it's really, really, really awesome. So businesses, individuals who really want to make a positive difference in the community are definitely invited to donate, to become a sponsor. You can volunteer, anything to really contribute, I think, is very rewarding as the giver, for sure, as well as, the families that are on the receiving end. So
you're talking about donations, and you just said on the receiving end. Is this free?
Like you question.
We for our camps, we hold camps every Sunday, and they're free of charge for those who participate. But they sell out really quick. And once we release a camp, it'll be sold out within 5 hours. So you can see the demand for that. We also do one-on-one lessons. We do charge a small fee for the one-on-one lessons, just to kind of cover expenses and payroll to our instructors and so on and so forth, and help create revenue for our future plans, like building a treehouse resort and things like that. But they're at a fraction of the cost of what a normal surf lesson would cost. So we're really trying to make this affordable, and we don't want it ever to be about money. So if it is an issue for a family, we do give out scholarships as well. So no matter what, I guess the bottom line answer is yes, it would be free. As long as we can continue to raise the funds necessary. And that's the struggle with us, because a lot of corporate sponsors are like, what is surf therapy? That sounds like it's a luxury. Where now we've been telling the story for 5 years, and now the families are telling our story, where, yes, it may seem like a luxury to you, but our kids can't participate in soccer, can't participate in baseball. This is a necessity for my child. Yep. So that's the story that's starting to be told, and the confidence that actually comes out of becoming a surfer and just being a part of the soccer team is two very different beasts. And I'm very proud to say that surfing not only has helped me in my life, but anyone who steps on a board and actually gets to ride a wave and conquers their fear of the ocean and big waves and gets that feeling that we refer to as stoke, it is really, it's a whole different ballgame, so to say. No pun intended,
Well, we're moving into fall, and at some point soon, sooner than I care to think about, it's going to be a little cool. Yep. At what point do you guys have to shut down shop, or do you have some way to, I don't know how you would move surfing indoors, but is there a way to maybe do some of the same dynamics in a pool?
Well, there's a few things that we work on. So we also do yoga and art. So we try to have some art classes, but with COVID, that's a little bit limited. We do something called Surf Fit, which we have these land boards that we get kids to participate in surf fitness classes. But we're also building a destination resort in Costa Rica, where we want to be able to give our families the opportunity to visit us in Costa Rica during the winter to kind of keep that magic rolling. So we would eventually have the resort built there, and we would gift a few families a year the opportunity to go out there. And also, if someone can afford to meet us there, we gladly accept the donation as well. But we actually just took out 2 families this past winter, and it was magical in itself, where we do the rainforest, zip lining, horseback riding, surfing. So, and where we're building is in a blue zone, which means it's one of the, there's 5 of them in the whole entire world, where people actually live happier, healthier, and longer. in these little blue zones. So we're building directly in a blue zone and trying to offer this wellness, ecotherapy, surf therapy, yoga experience to children and families.
That's wild.
Yeah, and you know what I think is great, and I think something to point out, a lot of our kids are in front of electronic devices a lot. And I think part of the beauty of Gnome Surf is that you're getting your kids back to nature, and which I think many children are lacking now because they're inside on a device, on their, on a tablet. And I mean, now, especially with COVID, remote learning, and it's just more electronic interaction and less nature.
Right.
And I think that is part of the therapy, is just, there's just something, any of us, when you're within nature and surrounded by nature, that in itself is just refreshing and invigorating. And I think that's part of it, whether you're, the instructors are awesome, the surfing is awesome, but you're just at a beautiful beach and the sun is setting and you might get lucky like us and get a rainbow. You don't know. But get your kids outside and it's awesome. It's just awesome. And I, as a nature lover myself, that's one of the big draws for me too, was like, this is outside. This is great. We're not on a basketball court. Yeah, this is great.
What's better than having your office at the beach? You know what I mean? So,
yeah. So I was actually going to ask you about that. Do you have a beach that you call your office at this point, or do you mix it up and go to different beaches?
We just got approved at a second beach this year in Westport, but our main beach is South Shore Beach in Little Compton. But we're also working on expanding to Newport and Narragansett and Westerly. But that all takes a lot of work. It takes capital. It takes instructors, training. So we'll slowly get there. My goal is to really get this program on, 5 to 6 beaches here in the area within the next 5 years or so. Plus the, resorts that we're looking to build too, so families can travel from outside the area to come meet us here. And I think even our local families would love staying at a treehouse resort and building that communal feeling, so to say. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that's terrific. So as somebody who works in the financial world, because COVID is just knocking people for a loop here financially, how have you been coping with that in terms of getting monies in the door, and have you got have you had to rethink your entire game plan?
We've been blessed, to be honest with you. We've actually,
I like to hear that.
We've actually received a few grants this year, which we normally hadn't received because we're so new. We only officially became a nonprofit last year.
And that takes time.
Yeah. And then telling the story of surf therapy takes time. People don't understand it, but I think people are finally starting to get it. And we've been getting some grants from the United Way, from the South Coast Community Foundation, and things like that. Smaller grants, right? But I believe firmly that our time is coming and we will get that big corporate sponsor locally, like hopefully a Verizon or someone like that, who's a local company that will come in and really give us that big boost that we need to help build this.
Who's the big
thing.
Board company? Who are the big manufacturers of surfboards?
Of surfboards, yeah. I mean, that's the misnomer there. No misnomer. But is that these...
Wow, you caught me off guard on that one. That was good.
That a lot of these surf companies have a lot of dispensable income. But the hard goods of it all is very, very small margins. And yes, they are big companies, but... they don't have the means to really truly come in and sponsor us on a large level. They may give us, we have a board sponsor in Focus Up Hawaii, which they actually make our boards custom to our specifications, brand them for us, so on and so forth. But other than that, operational funds is a little tight for surf companies. Yeah. So we would need someone else who saw the value in us, and decided to sponsor us. Like we have some friends who are these larger traveling group who primarily operate in California, a walk on water, and they're fully sponsored by Paul Mitchell. Paul Mitchell gives them 30, 40 grand a camp. So,
wow.
Yeah. So we're hoping we get that big sponsor like that soon, because what we're doing is a little bit different. We're actually... kids are coming to us at their pace and repeated, not just a one-time event. Although that's awesome and very magical in itself, but we want to continue that stoke throughout the summer and throughout the years. So we really want to build that bond with a child and surf once a week if we can. Some kids come to us 3 times a week right now.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Are you documenting all this? Have you been sort of taking, a camera along with you and filming things as you go along?
Not filming, unfortunately, but we do, because I can't control a surfboard, a child, the ocean, and a camera.
And be a cinematographer.
Yeah, but we do have professional photographers on the beaches that capture these moments, and we post them on Instagram, Facebook, and if you just go visit our pages, you'll see automatically the impact that we have on these children and families. And there's hundreds of them at this point up on there.
Yeah, I could imagine that that would make for an impactful video or some way to sell.
Yeah, we actually really need to get a video out, but
I'll do the voiceover.
Yeah,
I'll throw my hat in the ring on this one.
I'm going to hold you to that. Okay,
you got it.
Don't say it unless you mean it.
No, I mean it.
It's a little difficult this year, and we would have did the video this year, but this year doesn't quite tell the full story with the masks and the limited, staggered timing, and so I really wanted to show the full magic of it all. So once hopefully all this COVID stuff is out the door, we'll get back on schedule with that and really get a video out.
And with Costa Rica, are you still able to travel? Are you able?
No, I've been held back right now. So it's kind of managing a construction project from afar, and they're already on Tico time. So it's totally, extended the project, but that's okay. I'm willing to wait for a good thing. And that's going to prove to be very magical too.
Island time.
Yeah.
Whenever I go down to St. John, the bus will be here in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
5 hours
and
later.
Costa Rica is not an island even, but like people automatically assume it because they have that vibe.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just laid back, pura vida, it's just relax. So, it's been quite the struggle managing the project from afar. But like I said, I'm okay to wait for a great thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the clock. We're right down the barrel of this thing coming to a close. But before we wrap up these next 2-3 minutes, what haven't we covered here that people need to know? How are they going to contact you? Their website, their Facebook page, all that stuff, Instagram?
Yeah, we have all the social media engines. So just look for Gnome Surf and you spell it with a G, Gnome, surf. But you can visit our website at www.gnomesurf.com. And
it's a .com, not a .org?
It's a .com. Okay. I did that purposely, to be honest with you, because I don't want our kids coming and feeling like they're just part of the nonprofit. I want them feeling like they're part of the cool new surf school. So if you can make a donation, you can also make a donation there. And obviously we always need funds as a nonprofit. And we hold camps every Sunday. So keep a lookout for those if you're looking to do some surfing with us. If you have a child with autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, anxiety or depression, but we're also for all kids. So if your child just wants to learn how to surf, find us through there as well.
Up to what age?
We surf with them as young as 2, and we don't have another age limit. I've done, 45-year-olds, 50-year-olds. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
So we don't discriminate, literally, in any way, shape, or form.
Any last words before you start to cry again?
No, I'm not going to cry. No, I just I'm very thankful that I was able to, discover.
You're a new board member too. I don't know if we said
I'm one of the newbies. I was just recruited this season, so
and we're glad to have her for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So just basically helping spread the word, but again, just encouraging other businesses to really invest in the community and Gnome Surf. I mean, you're serving families with children, and they're awesome people that could potentially be your customers.
Right.
And not only that, but you're doing a good thing. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a worthwhile investment and something to consider, whether you want us to be a sponsor or just make an individual donation as a regular old person. It's all good, but Gnome Surf's pretty great. I think if you just go to their Instagram, check them out on Instagram or their Facebook page just to see the pictures, you'll immediately fall in love with it. It's really awesome. I know when I did it and I saw it and I was like, yes, I want to do that, and I want to be part of that. It's totally awesome. So
The message is get on board. No pun intended.
There's so many marketing
Yeah,
angles
it is.
with
It
this.
is. It's a beautiful thing.
I love it. Well, I feel that we're going to have to wrap this thing up because I know that the next crew has to get in here. But thank you both for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
thank you for having us.
Grateful.
Stephanie Pickup, Chris Anteo, Gnome Surf, GNOME surf.com.
Yep.
Just one quick way to find you.
Yep.
And then all the other social media. Sounds like great work you're doing. I want to hear more about the story. And when the documentary is ready,
We'll let you know.
Steph,
We're gonna
you
call
reach
you.
out.
Voiceover.
Chris, you Hey, it's we have it on tape,
That's right.
so you can hold me to it.
Awesome.
But we're going to wrap up this edition of Upfront. But hopefully, I'll be back again next Sunday with a new topic and a new guest, and I hope you'll be there to join.
This has been Upfront, the public affairs programming for Cat Country 98.1. If you'd like more information about today's topic or would like to be considered as a guest for an upcoming show, please call 401-467-4366 and ask for Phil Marlowe. Nonprofits and other organizations serving their local communities are welcome.